check this out. A few days ago, we ordered a couple boxes, 100 of these masks. You know, we completely ran out. We had 3 boxes here, and I'm like, let's order some. Look at this. Somebody glued 2 boxes together with just some tape. It didn't even bother to put these in like a poly or anything, you know, just send it like that. And look, came like this, all exposed to elements. And some people just never learn how to sell things on eBay. Name of this place is Yareli Trading from Florida. Crazy. Why would you want to just save 3 cents and not put this in a poly bag so you're protecting this from elements, especially if these are masks? Good thing they didn't rip completely out and stuff started falling out, you know? What? You have to raise the voice? Yeah, I know, you don't agree with that as well. Come on. I know. Look, the body's waiting right here for you. Yeah, yeah. You know what? On top of it, I just noticed it says this thing is 2 ounces. There's no way this is 2 ounces. This is at least 8 or maybe even 10 ounces. So they're cheating the system. Let's throw this so they can save $1, you know? They probably paid like $2.78 for this instead of $3.67 or something, you know? Let's throw this on a scale and see what it does. Actually, it's 15 ounces. So this would have been $5.14 to ship, and they marked this as 2 ounces. So they only paid $2.78. So they saved themselves $2.50 roughly. Cheating all the way around. I think I'm gonna leave this guy actually negative feedback, and I'm gonna put it in a feedback what he did. See how he likes that. Maybe he'll learn. No, that's funny. The reason I want to throw this on because it's the conversation's getting interesting.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's when we were talking earlier about building up this business. It gets to that point that when you're saying, yeah, here and there we will get burned out.
Yep.
Because you're doing this for so long, and you know, it might be repetitive here and there a little bit, but the hunt is always there.
Yeah.
The thrill of the hunt and finding the new and unusual things, that's what it's all about. That's what keeps us going. So
when I gave up because of eBay's, I quit eBay when it got the 5-star rating thing. I literally sold everything I owned for $1 an item, 70,000 items to a local auctioneer who does a bid board. And he made, like, you know, I had the original prototype for the Dukes of Hazzard Coleco ride-on car. I turned down a $5,000 offer for that car. I sold it to him for $1. Wow. I was so frustrated. and so I was like, I'm going to get into real estate investing. That's what I wanted to do. I started learning it. You know, I've learned it in and out. I've spent years and thousands of dollars to try to learn it. And there's so many different avenues. It's the same with this business.
Yeah.
But then I get a phone call and it's like, hey, there's a train station in New Jersey that has a bunch of paper and you can buy it for like $3,000. I went there and I looked and it's like 300,000 pieces of 1890s train paperwork up into the 1940s where people had to sign for ordnance to be able to get it at like Fort Dix. So that excited me.
Yeah.
So I bought the deal. And then from that point on, I was hooked again. So then it was like flea markets and yard sales. And then the bigger you get, I just learned that like, if you give out your business card, so now instead of going and buying storage lockers, I'll go to ones that I know are good. And a lot of the guys are the same guys. I'll hand my business cards to them and I'm like, hey, look, if you get an antique unit or a collectibles unit and you want to sell the whole thing, just do a quick flip, contact me. And then they just call me. So I don't even risk
that's
buying
the whole
That's
thing.
awesome.
That's the whole thing in this business, building those relationships.
It is.
But
It's
it takes
network.
time.
Yeah.
It's networking, takes time. That's why when we did the like original reseller rally a few years ago here in Chicago, you know, me, Chad, and Ronnie, this was main thing for us that we want to get people together so they can mingle, exchange the phone numbers. Lots of these resellers are in different niches, and you might come up with something that you have no idea about, but all it takes is a phone call, a picture, and it says, John, do you want this?
Yep.
Or, or vice versa, he finds something that he knows you into it, and that's how you grow this machine, and it's just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Yes, garage sales are great, estate sales are great, auctions and everything, but the connections is when you make the money.
Yeah.
Really.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that's what it boils down to, those deals that your guy calls you, he says, come with the truck, I got stuff for you, and you don't ask even what, you coming, because you understand what you guys, everybody understand who's looking for what.
Yeah.
And that's when you start, really accelerate. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's guys that like to be small and want to stay small, and they don't want to have a headache of having a warehouse, employees, blah, blah, and I get that. And you can definitely, do it and be a one-guy show and make good living and don't have the headaches.
Yep.
But if you want to make it serious and you want to make it bigger, I mean, you have to kind of, then get a warehouse, expand, get employees, because otherwise you're going to be working, 24/7.
Yeah. And
So-
you do get burned out like a lot.
You do.
Yeah.
I even, so like I said, whenever I put those clothes in, I walked in there and I'm like, I don't even know what's in here. Like, I know I have
Right.
a first edition Mark Twain book signed by Samuel Clemens
Yeah.
in there. It's an $8,000 or $10,000 book. I have no clue where it's at. Like,
Dude.
who knows? Like, we'll open up a box that'll be all vintage Lionel trains and just cool, like, Redline Hot Wheels. We buy collections, like the collection I just bought. I sold the pulps out of it, and so that collection's paid for, with the exception of like $1,000. Now I have 10 or 12,000 items that I have $1,000 into that are good. Like some of those posters, I'll get $200, $300, $400, $500 a piece for, and they'll go back to the warehouse. But we're already working on other stuff, so I don't even know when I'll get to them. And it's just there's so much stuff.
I know, goodness. But like, if I run into sourcing issues, I'll just make a drive out to PA. See ya.
Come buy truckloads.
Yeah.
T from Auctions for You. She bought the record truckload. I was just talking to Pete about records. I sold her. I had a bunch of records. Now in there, I didn't even go through them, but there was a bunch of like sealed Western and stuff. But then there was a ton of Guy Lombardo.
Wow.
So I just sold it all to her because I don't want to take the time to learn something new. You always learn in this business.
Right.
Yeah,
The best-
you always
the
learn,
best
but
thing-
you stick with the niches that you understand,
Right.
and you know that you can make money, and you're always gonna run into new stuff. But
Yep.
do you have time always to learn about it? Maybe not. So that's why, okay,
Yep.
I bought it for 10. Give me 20. You can make another 20 on it because I don't understand that niche.
Right.
But you already got something out of it in the middle because
Right.
that's why you went after this, because you know what I mean. But it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I do it all the time too. That we just like this is gone because I don't want to deal with this.
And I'm crazy, so there's.
Well, you need to be a little bit
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
doing this.
Yeah,
business.
it's-
That's how it is.
It's scary when you walk into a building and you're like, I don't really want records.
Yeah, yeah.
And a third of the building's records, but then you're like, man, I really want the action figures, and I would pay $15,000 for this corner of action figures, and the guy's willing to sell you the whole building for $15,000. I didn't even negotiate. I'm like, okay, I'll
Yeah.
just take the building
Yeah.
because I would have paid that for the action figures, and everything else is gravy. And then I'm like, okay, now if I can sell the records, you look through a little bit. You go, if I get $5,000 for the records, now I paid $10,000 for the
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah.
See,
And
I
I
would,
justify
and I would
that.
be totally opposite. I walked in there and I'll be like, I just want these records. I don't want to deal with
All
these
that stuff.
figures
Yeah.
at all. Then I pick up a phone. I call Brian.
call
He
me.
says, I want that. Give me $7,000. Now my records are $7,000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it.
That's how it works all the time. Because they can at the part-time level to learn really what they like.
Mm-hmm.
Do
As
it.
far as picking, do it as long as you can, and then you eventually decide, this is what I want. This is the niche I want to be in because it makes me happy looking for it.
Right.
It never gets boring that way.
Right.
If it becomes to the point that you just sourcing for stuff because you can make a couple bucks on this and that, but it doesn't excite you, it gets so repetitive and boring. Eventually, you burn out so quick that's why so many people can't do this.
Yeah.
you know, they disappear. But if you find a couple niches that really get you excited and you go after it and you understand, you can just walk into the room and you know from a distance, oh, there's $300 laying right there. You know, that's what it's all about. So,
and it's exciting to see or to go to like a flea market and not be the first person. I bought a Route 66 sign at Leesport Flea Market in the morning. I walked up, this other dealer that I know buys transportation stuff picks it up, he's looking at it, he's like, I don't know. He asked the guy, it's $20. It's an enamel sign from the 30s and 20s. I'm like, oh man, I missed this. And the guy puts it down. He asks him if he'll do $10. Puts it down and walks off because there's a chip in it. I lift it up. I see there's a stamp on the back. I'm like, this is old. It's not a reproduction. Even if it was a reproduction, it would have cost more than $20.
Right.
I was like, hey, how much did you say on the sign? He says $20. I said, I'll take it. No question asked. No nothing. He pulls another sign out of the car. It's a Conestoga wagon from Ohio, from some road like 741 or something. I buy that. I put that on eBay that night. It brings $840. I am super excited. I put the Route 66 sign on eBay. It winds up selling for a little over $13,000. And I was getting offers like the whole time, like, will you pull this? And I'm like, I don't pull anything. Once I list it, it's up. It's running. It's just not fair to the other people.
Sure, yeah.
But I went out to that flea market and I saw the guy I bought the stuff from about 3 weeks later. And I gave him an envelope and said, hey, you know, like, how much is this on the table? And it was $10 for a toy that was worth $10. And I gave him an envelope. I'm like, here's $10, and here's a little extra. I did really well on the signs. I had $2,000. He chased me down the aisle, and he's like, oh, I think you made a mistake. And I'm like, no. I said, I did really well with the signs. I said, I had no clue. Took a shot.
Yeah.
Did great. I said, just remember me.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't need your money to remember you. And he's like, I appreciate it. He gave me the money back. And he's like, if I ever get any other signs, he's like, they'll go to you.
Yeah.
He's like, I have your card, I have your number. He's like, and just tell me what you think is fair. And he didn't take the money. And he goes, I bought a barn that these were in. He said, I paid $40 for the entire barn. He said, you paid for everything in that barn by buying those 2 signs. He's like, and you didn't ask me to come down in price. He's like, you just paid my number. And I was like, why would you argue with somebody over $5 or $10 on something that even crappy would have been $100?
Yeah.
Well, that's how you build those relationships.
Yeah,
that's
man.
exactly how you start, you know. So.
And that's exciting. When you get hooked, you're one big find. You go to a thrift store and you find Air Jordan 1s that are dead stock.
Yeah.
Or you find, you might not know this stuff yet, but a pair of vintage Levi's, like Big E Levi's, like 501 bucklebacks that are worth $5,000 or $6,000. You find those for $6. You will look at that and go, what have I been doing my whole life? I could have been.
So I tell everybody, Brian, I compare picking and finding stuff as you are as a young kid and you take out somebody fishing and they're fishing and for the first time they hook like a 42-inch muskie big for the first time out fishing.
Yep.
And they get that adrenaline, they're hooked for life. They're fishermen for life. That's the same effect when you go out and you all of a sudden, you know, you bought something at the flea market for $2, you bring it home and you go, holy shit, I just did this thing is $3,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the amazing part. Yeah. So anyway, I just want to mention it quick. So YouTube channel, Dapper Tiger. Brian,
Mr. Buys a Lot.
If you guys want to check it out, I'll put it down below and in the description. The links will be below if you want it. Lots of knowledge here, so go check them out. So nice and clean for you. You don't want to go in? Look who's in. Honey's in. She's looking at you. What's going on here? The bird is on top. Honey's inside. These two are crazy. You guys are crazy. You are crazy. Yeah? What are you doing? What are you doing? Where, you gonna lay in there? He actually hazmat suits, but I think they're just regular, you know, military British outfits that they're just shrink wrapped, because it doesn't say anywhere on here that these are like hazmats, and that's what he called them, right?
Right.
The date is 1992, and then it says Level L package May 1993. So I don't know if they gotta be used by 1993, a year later. It's not even a year, because this is December 92 and this is May 1993. I'm almost.
I'm not sure, because this one I looked up.
It does says hazmat
It says-
chemical.
Yeah, but then
Okay.
when I go down here, it says it was designed for U.S. military soldiers, and he said these are British. So I'm not sure. This looks similar to camouflage suit.
Yeah. Oh well, they're sealed, easy to ship. Now, is this for a set, 35 bucks, or just for trousers?
It's both.
So for complete suit.
Yeah, trousers and the jacket.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's alright. I mean, we'll make 20 bucks on it. So check this out. If you're willing to wait a little bit and you set your price, you will find the right buyer. So this is the PlayStation 1 game, Castlevania. Original price, look, $13, 1998. We priced it out for 75 bucks and it sold today. Love games, love selling video games. You just sometimes got to be a little bit patient. You know, that disc is not perfect. I mean, it shows obviously a little bit of wear and play, some scratches, but it still plays good. Castlevania, 75 bucks. Man, love selling video games. A lot of people ask me, and I think I never talked about it, when it comes to like super light stuff but expensive stuff, like this game sold for 75 bucks, and even with the box, it's only 5 ounces. I think the game by itself was only a couple ounces. I will ship out anything over $50 priority mail. I mean, I could have shipped this first class, you know, for $2, what, $2.78. But anytime that we get an item that it's 50 bucks and up, I'm shipping priority mail. Even though that this is free shipping, 75 bucks, and I had free shipping on it. Somebody wants this game fast, and they paid up for it. I'm not gonna say $5 or $4. This is going flat rate, small flat rate box, which is what, $7.52? Small box, $7.42. I was wrong. $7.42. Okay, let's print it. Yeah, I just do this all the time. Me and Adrian do it. I mean, if somebody pays up, why not? You know, even if it's free shipping, they get it, you know, within 2-3 days. These days, first class takes forever, especially with COVID. What's going on? Sometimes packages take, you know, a week or 2 to get to some people. So why not? You know, do the customer service, and people are happy.
We're too aggressive. Right, baby? Baby. Hey, crazy. That's too aggressive. Can't do that. Right?